Okay, folks, listen carefully. When the minions of Satan crucified Jesus, they put a crown of thorns on his head to mock him and to cause him pain. And after he was crucified, he rose from the dead. Okay? And this is why the minions of Satan now, when you see people die at certain ages and on certain dates, they use that sacrifice as a way of getting a crown. Okay? That's what that means. Because, see, Jesus rose from the dead, and that is why they feel that that's what they have to do, is to sacrifice something to gain something. Okay, let's get into the video. So I put into the calculator, into the Google search, what is 187 in police code? And it's murder. You understand? 187 means murder. And it just so happens that the name George Washington equals 187. Okay? So remember that. George Washington equals 187. Okay, pay attention carefully. So, you know that I told you on June 11th, the Space Needle is going to get struck in Seattle. So the whole area of that Seattle, Washington area is going to get struck. And this is 12/14 is Washington's death date. Forget about the years. I'm just looking at the dates. So 12/14 is the day George Washington died. And I'm telling you 6/11 is the day Washington gets struck, Seattle, Washington. Let's see how many days are in between 6/11 and 12/14. You see? 187 days. The 187 is the murder code. I guess that's just a coincidence too, huh? That it lands on June 11th to December 14th, which is Washington's death date. Because June 11th is going to, Seattle, Washington is going to be destroyed. So now look what I did. So this time, it's from Washington's death date to June 11th, going forward 911 days. So from Washington's death to 6/11, there's a 9/11 connected to 6/11. Do you see that? Again, from death, because this was death and destruction on 9/11. Washington died on December 14th, which is death. And then you have future death. 6/11. Do you understand? Okay. Now let's go from Washington's death to August 16th, which is Elvis Presley's death date. Not the year. Forget about the years. It's just about the dates. So from Washington's death to Elvis Presley's death, August 16th is 611 days. Do you understand? Everything is about death and destruction. Or let's just take Washington's death date straight to June 11th. It's 5 months, 29 days. Okay, first of all, it's got 180 days. 1/8 is Elvis's birthday with a crown, you see? 1/8 with a crown. Anyway, 5 months, 29 days. 5/29 is JFK's birth date. He was born on 5/29. And see, we're on the Gregorian calendar, and June 11th on the Gregorian calendar is May 29th, which is 5/29, which is JFK's which is JFK's birthday. And you know what happened to JFK? He had the head wound. Okay? So June 11th is May 29th. And if 6/11 is 5/29, then 6/24 is going to be 6/11 on the Julian calendar. And you know what happened on 6/24 in 2021, just recently? You remember they had that condominium collapse near the water, Surfside, that's right, in Florida. on June 24th. And June 24th is 6/11, you see, on the Julian calendar. And I showed you how this number was important, but I'm not going to show it here. Wow, you know what I just noticed is the zip code is 33,154. And I told you the 154 is the Antichrist number. And they brought down one of the towers because there was a north and a south tower. Can you believe this? Because I was just telling you guys about how they want to destroy the twins in the other video that I did. Look, folks, some of this information I might have shown before. Some of you might have remembered before. Look at this. Timothy McVeigh, the guy who supposedly did the Oklahoma City bombing, they put him to death, on June 11th, after they found him guilty of doing it, whatever the heck, But look at his initials, TM. I told you TM equals 33, but it's for Tupelo, Mississippi, or for Memphis, Tennessee. You know what I mean? Elvis's homes. And don't you find it interesting that they put him to death, because he was of a bombing, right? 6/11 in the year 2001, and then 9/11 happened that same year. You see what I'm saying? And I told you guys the next 9/11, because 9/11 happened in Manhattan, is going to be in Seattle. And notice they both have the ATT, right? And if you put Seattle and Manhattan into the gematria calculator, look what you get. Look, this whole back number is very important. It connects to the twins and to the number 216, but I'm not going to get into it. All I care about is this 222 right here. So for Seattle and Manhattan is 222. And I told you, this is the year 2022. And September 11th, the supposed 9/11 attacks happened in New York, right? Manhattan, New York. And Seattle's original name was New York. You see? Seattle was first named New York. See, what's Seattle's original name? New York. And then they named it after this guy, Noah. His name is Chief Noah. Can you believe this? I mentioned this before because I told you that, maybe Seattle's going to sink into the water, like I said. Noah, get it? And look at it. It's like the word stealth. Or even, even the word Tesla's in there. TESLA. And I told you guys that the anagram for the word Seattle is LEL, state, STATE. And I told you state equals Janus, the two-faced God. Okay, this is going to be bad quality, but everyone knows this iPad goat video. So she drops the apple and it hits Obama's foot, and the apple breaks in half. Look, folks, there's many ways of, translating this video. I don't think translate's the right word, but my brain's going blank. But listen, everyone has their own opinion about who's who and what's what in these videos. All I want to focus on is the apple, because it starts rolling, right? And it breaks open. It breaks in half, and then a lotus comes out, like a phoenix. You know what I'm saying? Like something comes up out of the water. And like I said, it hit Obama's foot. Basically, it's saying that it's something somewhere between that girl with the blonde hair. Who knows? It could represent Trump, that blonde hair. So anytime between, they're saying between, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Anyway, it doesn't matter. All I care about is the apple. And remember, the apple split open. Listen, the reason I'm not making any sense is because I just thought of this at the last second, because I've shown this before in the past, but I haven't showed it in so long. I've completely ruined this video. Anyway, so basically what I'm saying is that the apple broke in half. And Washington State is known as the Apple State, basically. Okay? Because it's the #1 apple producer. And its national fruit, I guess, is an apple. And I told you guys, APP equals 33. And you have the ELS, implying more than one EL, you know, like for Trump and Elvis. You get what I'm saying? Anyway, so I told you they're going to crack Washington. The Kraken. Do you understand? They're going to crack it and give it a head wound, Washington. They're going to chop its head off. That's why they call it the chop zone. And you remember from a year ago, not this past New Year's Eve, but they did a light show at the Space Needle, and they had kind of like a lotus coming out of the top. Because I told you, Elvis is the lotus, the phoenix, the kraken. He's the beast out of the sea in Seattle. And that's what you're seeing here. You know, they're birthing something out of after it gets cracked in half. Something gets birthed out. And that's, you know, the L, the EL, birth L. And you see what's on the floor? You had a C and an L, or a 7, but it's an L. And remember, I told you the C is a 3, right? The third letter of the alphabet. So if this is a 3 and this is an L or a 7, it's 3-7 means the EL. Remember, I told you the 3-7 or 7-3 is the EL number. EL means God. They're going to birth Elvis, L, birth L, out of the sea in Seattle, birth L. And if you put birth L into the gematria calculator, you get 7438, 11543, which equals the exact same as Lucifer. Birth L equals Lucifer, and that's what they're going to do, you see? And remember, I told you that Elvis was known as the king. The king is almost the exact same number. This is the same number, that's the same number, that's the same number, only this one's different. Instead of 43, it's 34. So the king is almost the same as Lucifer and birth L. And like I said, Elvis was known as the king. And like I've showed many, many times, Seattle is the seat of King County. Seattle's in King County, and it's basically like a throne because the word seat is in Seattle. L seat, and it's a double TT, like two thrones, they're saying. And interestingly enough, from Elvis's birthday, January 8th, if you go forward to December 14th, Washington's death, look at that. It's 11 months, 6 days. The 611 backwards, you see? And it's not including that last day, but it's up to that day. Anyway, 11 months, 6 days from Elvis's birthday, you see? And let me show you something, okay? So Washington's birthday is celebrated on February 22nd, but his original birthday was February 11th, 2/11. So if you remember earlier, I was showing you the connections with 187 because 187 equals murder and George Washington equaled 187. And then I showed you a bunch of connections with it. Now I can't remember them. But look, from February 11th, the 42nd day of the year, to August 16th, the day Elvis died, who died at the age of 42, is 187 days. You see? It's the 187 murder number, and George Washington equal 187. And it's again connected to Elvis and death. And like I said, Elvis died at the age of 42. This is the 42nd day of the year, February 11th, and Washington is the 42nd state. Oh, that's right. It was this. So June 11th, 6/11 to Washington's death was 187. That was the other 187. I forgot. So pay attention. This is very important because I'm going to show something that connects to this. So remember when I showed this a long time ago to you guys that I tried to put the number 0 here, but it wouldn't let me, the calculator. It would only start from the year 1. And I wanted to see up to September 11th, 2001. But because it wouldn't let me put 0, I had to add a year. That way it would be even the number. See? 2001. So what I'm saying is I had to add a years. You understand? Okay. So from the first of the year to the, whatever, to 0 to 2001, September 11th, was 731106. Look at that. How many days? 731106. And you know that number, like I told you, it starts with 73, which is the EL number, and then you have the 611 or upside down 911. And remember that was the date up to 9/11, 2001. Look at that. So it's basically the 611, the L, and I told you the L is going to be birthed out of the sea in Seattle on 6/11. But anyway, just remember this number, 1106 and the EL, but 1106 for right now. So check this out. I put Elvis Aaron Presley, Seattle, Washington, June 11th, 2022. And look what you get right here. Watch this. Look, 1106 again, the 6/11. And remember, it's up, and that's what I wrote in there too. Look at that. It's got that 1106 number again. And look at this. I changed the year to 1972. The exact same thing, words again. And the reason I put 1972, because that's the year Elvis turned 37, which is the EL, the 37. And this was the only other date that also did this. Look, 1106 again. 6/11/11/6. And the other one was, 2022 for 1106. You see? That is another connection because it connects to the EL. And no other year with Elvis did that. Now check this out. I took out the Washington and just put Seattle. So it's the same exact thing, but without the Washington this time. So let's see what it equals. Look at these numbers, will you? Look at that. First of all, it's got the 216, which I told you is important. It's got the 711, because I told you about the Thank Heaven for 711, my videos. And I told you that 666 was connected to the 711 if you watch my videos. Look at that, will you? Even that number is important, but I'm not going to get into it. And look, everything equals, check out what it equals. Everything is 72, 27, 72, 27, 99, 99. If you don't know what I mean, listen carefully. 71 plus 1 is 72. 21 plus 6 is 27. 92 plus 7 is 99. 66 plus 6 is 72. 27, with a 0 is still 27. 93 plus 6 is 99. So everything is 72, 27, 99. 72, 27, 99. And remember, I was just talking about the 72, 72, right? So if he died in 77, the year of 77, and look, if the 6/11 event happens this year, it's 77, 22, 99. 72, 72, 72, 99. Get it? Again, it's that same numbers again. Do you understand what this is? This was the year Elvis died, and this is this year, 22. That's what I'm trying to show. And interestingly enough, that number right there where I showed 77, 22, 99, look, it equals 614 on the bottom right here. And that's Trump's birthday, 6/14. Forget about this. I was just messing around here. So here's going to be the proof that it's going to happen this year, okay? Pay attention. This is the most important part right here. So this is a crown, remember. So Elvis died in 1977. He's going to come back in 2022. There's a crown on 2022, a crown on 1977, okay? Look at what you get when you look at this. Watch this. Look at this. Look at these numbers down here. It's just like that 9/11 number I showed. Look, it's got the 73 with a crown, which is even better. And then it's got the 611. When I showed you that 9/11 one from the very first year, if you went way back, if you saw, a few minutes ago, it said 731106. Now it's 730611. You see this? I mean, this is unbelievable, man. It's basically the ELO, which is God with a crown, and the 611. I mean, there's just no way you're going to get a perfect number like this. It's impossible. Okay? Anyway, like I said, Elvis's death year was 77, and this year is the return, the 22, right? So, what's missing here is another 7 and another 2. That would make the jackpot 777222. I know this is blurry, but this is the best I could do because I had to handwrite it. You remember I used to talk about the spirit of 76, okay? And if you wrote the 76 like this, I know it looks like a seahorse too, but it's 767676. What does it look like if you turned it upside down? They look like 2s now. You see, the 777 is upside down 2s. And that's why I'm saying that their goal is to get the 777, which would be the upside down 222s. Okay? And why is that so important? 777 and 222. And before I show you that final equation, remember, the final answer to this equation, don't forget that it's been 222 years since Washington died, and Washington his birthday celebrated on 2/22, and this year is 2/22, 2022. So pay attention. So I wrote the word 777, 222. Because that's what they need, okay, to replicate, to try and mimic, and they're mocking God, but they're also trying to be like God. So what do you get? Look at what you get. 611. Okay? You understand? They need to destroy 611 and Washington in order to get their last crown, which will give them the 777, 222 when they destroy 611. And look, 611 plus 55 is 666 if you don't count the 0 here. 611 plus 55 is 666. All right? These are impossible coincidences of what I'm showing you. All right? Anyway, I have hours and hours of information, okay? I can't show you everything. It's impossible to show everything. Anyway, folks. So just remember my 2 predictions. Elvis somehow manifests after a spectacular event in Seattle on June 11th, and Trump gets his head wound in Ohio on Obama's birthday, August 4th. August 4th, Trump gets his head wound. Anyway, folks, I know I didn't do a very good job on this video of making it smooth and fluid, whatever, but it is what it is, man. Believe me, if you guys tried to do this, you'd go crazy. It'll drive you nuts. Anyway, all right, folks, end of video.